lifted from heaven to a manger. The hope of the world's alive for all mankind. All of the earth rejoice, it's Christmas time. So lift up your voice and sing out His praise. It's Christmas, born as the King, rejoice in the day. It's Christmas, make a joyful sound. It's Christmas, let His praise resound. It's Christmas. Goodwill to all the earth and peace divine. All of the earth rejoice, it's Christmas time. It's Christmas time. So lift up your voice and sing out His praise. It's Christmas, born as the King, rejoice in the day. It's Christmas, make a joyful sound. It's Christmas, let His praise resound. It's Christmas, so lift up your voice and sing out His praise. It's Christmas, born as the King, rejoice in the day. It's Christmas, make a joyful sound. It's Christmas, let His praise resound. It's Christmas. So lift up your voice and sing out His praise. It's Christmas, born as the King, rejoice in the day. It's Christmas, make a joyful sound. It's Christmas, let His praise resound. It's Christmas. It's the first Noel, the angels did say, was to certain poor shepherds in fields as they lay, in fields where they lay keeping their sheep on a cold winter's night that was so deep. Noel, 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 born Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appear. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Disperse the gloomy clouds of night, and its dark shadows put to flight. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O come thou Key of David, come and open wide our heavenly home. Make safe the way that leads on high, and close the path to misery. I am the least of all. So I said, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Go tell it, go tell it, go tell it, go and tell it, go tell it, go tell it, go tell it, go and tell about it.
Go tell it, go tell it, go tell it, go on and tell it. Go tell it, go tell it, go tell it, go on and tell it.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us online today. It is Christmas Day, and here at Ocean View, we've moved all of our services online to celebrate with you at home, wherever you're worshiping from this morning. Last night, we had an awesome time worshiping together at our Christmas Eve services. Thanks so much for coming out, all of you that invited others. We had an amazing time together. Today, we have a great honor to welcome Pastor Terry and his wife Jen to the stage as we talk about that one Christmas with them. Before we get to that, I just want to remind everyone that next week is January 1st, New Year's Day. That means we're only going to be having two services at 9:30 and 11, both online and in person. So if you're in the area, you're back in town, we'd love to see you in person. But also remember, our kids' environments and student environments will not be meeting that day, so we'll be worshiping together as a family on January 1st at 9:30 and 11. We have an awesome morning lined up for you, so grab your coffee, get your presents ready to open if you haven't done so already. We're glad you're here with us this morning.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Peace on earth and mercy mild, God and sinners reconciled. Joyful all ye nations rise, join the triumph of the skies. With angelic host proclaim, Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Glory to the King. Christ by highest heaven adored, Christ the everlasting Lord. Late in time, behold him come, offspring of a virgin's womb. Veiled in flesh, the Godhead see. Hail the incarnate deity. Pleased as man with men to dwell, Jesus our Emmanuel. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Glory to the King. Prince of Peace. Hail the Son of Righteousness. Light and life to all he brings, risen with healing in his wings. Mild he lays his glory by, born that man no more may die, born to raise the sons of earth, born to give them second birth. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Oh, hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King. Glory to the King. Glory to the King. Yes, glory to the King. Glory to the King.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would save our sons and daughters? Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? Oh, this child that you delivered will soon deliver you. Mary, did you know that your baby boy would give sight to a blind man? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would calm the storm with his hands? Did you know that your baby boy has walked where angels tried? When you kiss your little baby, oh, you've kissed the face of God. Oh, Mary, did you know? Oh, Mary, did you know? Oh, did you know the blind will see, the deaf will hear, the dead will live again, the lame will leap, the dumb will speak, the praises of the Lamb? Mary, did you know that your baby boy is Lord of all creation? Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day rule the nations? Did you know that your baby boy is heaven's perfect lamb? This sleeping child you're holding is a great I am.
Do you remember that one Christmas we made cookies and the dog ate them all?
Remember that one Christmas when we went sledding on Grandpa's farm?
Remember how on Christmas our dad used to have to wake us up to go check the
Do
stockings?
you remember that Christmas when the baby was just 5 days old?
When all the families together.
Do you remember that one Christmas we went on a road trip and the only place open was Waffle House?
Do you remember that Christmas when we all went Christmas caroling?
Getting up Christmas morning and just feeling the excitement.
We opened presents.
Do you remember that one Christmas when we went around and looked at Christmas lights?
Getting presents.
Do you remember that Christmas when my sister and brother-in-law were being a Scrooge and didn't want to decorate their house? So we went over and put about 175 plastic candy canes throughout their whole front yard.
I remember that one Christmas we flew across the country to go see our grandparents. Do you remember the story of that one Christmas where baby Jesus was born?
Do you remember that one Christmas?
Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us here at Ocean View on Christmas Day as we are online together. We hope that today will be that one Christmas for many of you as you're gathered with family and friends. And thank you again for joining us from your living room or if you're traveling wherever you are from. We're honored that today we are here with Pastor Terry and his wife Jennifer. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey Aaron, good
Merry
morning.
Christmas
Good morning.
and all of that.
Merry Christmas.
Now, obviously, it's not Christmas Day today. We're a little in advance, but we're glad that we get to have the conversation. We put everybody else on this couch, and so now we're glad that we get to ask you guys questions.
We're on the hot seat.
The hot seat. Yeah, hot takes and all that,
That's
all
right.
that good stuff. So we've heard of other people's, mine and Pastor Jim, like their Christmases as well, things that were fun for them. What's a fun Christmas memory that maybe you have that you could share with all of us?
Can I start?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. Two quick memories that I would say that just hilarious. One sentimental and one funny. Christmas in Chicago growing up, it was your quintessential snow. I mean, it was blanketed outside, so it was cold inside. We had a fire roaring. It was wonderful. My mom loved Tupperware parties. I don't know if any of you remember those Tupperware parties, but
I remember the
she
sound it makes.
Loved them, yes. And she would have a Tupperware party at around Christmas time, and it was a big deal for her. The house had to be clean, and she would make cheesecakes for that Tupperware party because she was masterful at baking. And so one of my favorite desserts was blueberry cheesecake. And my mom knew that, but she made one piece for us boys and my dad, and she then had to go to work one night, and she says, now, I've already made you your piece. Do not touch the cheesecakes. I know how many there are. Don't touch them. And we were sitting watching a show one evening, and it's like the day before her Tupperware party, and my dad, I'll never forget it, he looks up at us boys, and he goes, you hungry? And we're like, yeah. And he goes, all right, I'll tell you what. We're going to go up there. We're going to have some cheesecake, but we're going to eat the whole pie, and maybe Mom will forget how many pies there were in the fridge. True story. And so we did. We shoveled that pie down our gullets. We felt sicker than anything. And then, of course, my mom came home, and the next day, she went and pulled all the pies out, and she's like, Terry, because my dad's name was Terry, and we were in trouble. So that has a sentimental meaning. Obviously, my mom passed away when I was 15, and so every time I see a piece of cheesecake, true story, I do think of my mom because I think of that story. It was just so funny for her. But one last story I gotta share. Christmas time, that one Christmas, my dad decided that he was going to buy an artificial tree. We always had real trees, and we always went. And he goes, Barbara, that's my mom's name, we're going to get an artificial tree. And my mom says, okay, just go ahead and go get it. Well, my dad went out to the store, and he comes home with this huge box. I mean, unbelievable. And he opens it up, but there's more pieces in it than just tree. It's got almost like a sloped cylinder, and the trunk of the tree is hollow. And my mom is like, what did you do? He goes, this is amazing, Barbara. It is an automatic snowing Christmas tree. It's going to be amazing. And my mom, by the way, again, Christmas time, there are Tupperware parties. My mom had a party that she was prepping for the next day. She just cleaned the house. So, all right, just put it up. It's not going to make too much of a mess. No, it won't be bad at all. So my dad spends literally hours trying to figure this out. And my dad was, directions. He didn't really like directions.
They're optional?
Yeah, optional.
Yeah.
He was a tinkerer. He knew everything about anything. So he just starts putting it all together. So then he turns it on, and the motor within this automatic snowing Christmas tree is really, really weak. And he was like Tim the Toolman Taylor. He decided, no, we need something more powerful. So he goes down in the basement. He grabs an extra motor that he has, and he puts it on. And my mom sees him wiring and soldering and like, what are you doing? And he's just like, no, it's going to be amazing. We got to have a little bit more power to it so the snow gets over the tree and it's going to look amazing. Your party's going to love it. So my mom is freaking out, and my dad gets the tree together. He calls us boys down. He goes, come on, boys, come look at this. And all of a sudden, he plugs it in, and I will never forget it. All of a sudden, there's this high-pitched sound. And then in one full swoop, all the little styrofoam snowballs from inside the tree go and fly out of the tree as fast as can be and go all over the living room. My brother and I are running around. It's snowing. My mom is having a heart attack. My dad is trying to find the plug disconnected. It is mass chaos. And needless to say, that's the only time that tree ever snowed, because after that, my mom was like, enough, just plug it in, take the motor out, we're just going to have a tree. So my dad spent all that money on an automatic snowing tree, and it never really snowed much more than that. So
just one blizzard. And done. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it reminds us of that one Christmas, and I will never forget it.
That's amazing. Yeah. So you've talked a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're going to let your wife have a turn.
It's about time.
If that's okay. Jen, can you tell us about maybe a fun Christmas memory you have, or maybe a tradition that you have growing up or that you have in your family now today?
Sure. Well, I would say it goes all the way back to when we were teenagers.
Oh, boy.
Okay, good, fun. We're getting some history lesson, yeah?
Yes, so it was pretty traditional for our family. My mom would coordinate making Christmas cookies, and we'd love to share them with our neighbors and friends. And so I remember, I think it was our junior year in high school. And anyways, we had you come on over and join in our fun. And there's actually a picture of us that my mom took. And we decided that the baking was great, but it was a lot more fun if we threw some flour in it. So we had a great time with the flour fight. That was really fun.
So
that's
a different kind of snowstorm than what you experienced earlier.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I would say our traditions really kind of go back to that time. And then it's evolved through the years. I would say that the table is something that is super important to us as a family, gathering around that table. And so we really try to have a beautiful Christmas dinner together. And I like to bring out the formal china, and we...
A lot of dishes, Aaron. A lot of dishes.
Yes, I know.
They have to be hand washed.
The boys don't like that
wrapped
so
in
much.
bubble wrap, all of that. Yeah.
Yes. So we love to gather around the table, whether that's having family with us or friends with us. That's just a really special time, and we kind of get that set up really beautiful, and then we just have traditions around the table that we enjoy together. One thing is we love to pick out different Bible verses to have on the place settings for everybody, and we like to share that together. So that I would say that's one thing that we've also enjoyed every year. And then...
Can I say one thing on that?
Oh, sure.
I think some families...
You couldn't help yourself, could you?
I couldn't. I'm too quiet. I'm too quiet. But one thing about that, and I will admit, is sometimes it can seem awkward when you're running around and you get all the food on the table and it's hot and it's gathering the kids and everybody, and it's like, we don't have time to do something like that. And it does feel that way, and I will say that. This is more of a cumulative effect, I would say, from a tradition standpoint, because I think if you try maybe to read a Bible verse or a story really quickly, don't make it long, but just really quickly, then it's going to feel awkward. And the end of the night, you're going to think, you know what, I don't think it was worth it. I think it was just too much. But I will tell you, over the many years of doing that and just kind of almost forcing yourself to pause in the moment and to take that moment, it does become a tradition, and it does all of a sudden become something that you look forward to, but it's a cumulative effect. It takes time, and so I would say that has definitely happened for our family.
I would agree. And the other thing that I think that's special for us as a family, as Connor has grown up, we wanted to focus on what did we want to do as a family?
Yeah.
What do we want Connor to remember as a family unit, that how we focus ourselves at Christmas time. And so we have really tried to be intentional that on Christmas morning we really wake up and we try to start the day focusing on what the true meaning of Christmas is. And so we have made it a tradition that we sing Happy Birthday to Jesus before we even get into opening our gifts. And we've actually taken our son over to Israel with us, and we bought a candle there in Bethlehem. And so every year we actually pull out our candle, and we put it around our manger, and we gather as our family, and we sing Happy Birthday to Jesus and pray. And that is just such a sweet time for us. I really do treasure it, and I like how it centers us for what that day is really about.
Now, we don't have stranger at the manger, but we do have the Bethlehem candle at the manger.
Yeah, well, everybody has their own thing.
That's very
right?
true. Yes,
And
yes.
I think it's really interesting because you guys have such for you, and it's unique to you guys. You have a longer history together because you were high school sweethearts and you're together, and now you have a family. You're doing your own traditions. Like that's an amazing thing, and to see that evolve over time, and now with Connor as well. Now you mentioned Israel. And actually today, on Christmas, you're actually about to travel to Israel, right? So we're recording this before you jump on the plane, but we have several people going, and you're traveling again to Israel for Christmas. Like, what is the significance of that to you? Like, that's a pretty incredible thing to do.
It's pretty special from a standpoint is that one of the locations we're going to be able to travel to is Bethlehem. And, you know, it's, if you've never been to Israel, traveling over to Bethlehem it elicits so many different emotions within you because there's obviously conflict in the Middle East. There's different people groups, and you know, many individuals don't understand this, Aaron. And I would say this is obviously you have the Jewish culture and the Jewish people, and then you have Arabs that are also intermingled and mixed. But we seem to forget that there are Christian Arabs, and then there are Messianic Jews, and so you have all this culmination of people groups that are really struggling at Christmas time because it means so many things to so many different cultures. But heading into Bethlehem, you feel that tension. And I remember one of the fondest memories that I have is when you head into the place, the location where they believe that Christ was born. You travel into this church, and a church was placed on it to protect that site, and you're in with hundreds and hundreds of people, and they're pressed together, and they're just, you know, they're trying their best to get to this place, but it's a long wait. And so when you first come in, you're excited. Then all of a sudden, over like the next 20 minutes, you realize, well, we're going to be here a while. And then your back starts hurting because it's hard, cold floors. And the Orthodox priests that are there watching the church, they're no joke. They will, if you get out of line, they will come over at you and they will yell at you. So it's kind of like we're going to see this beautiful thing, and yet all of a sudden we're feeling tired, we're feeling cranky, where people are yelling, people are pushing, people are shoving, and then you have to walk down these steps to get into this cave-like area where they believe Jesus was born, and people are like literally pushing each other to get down these steps, but they are not big steps, they're tiny steps, and so people are tripping, people are falling, and you're just standing there going, you know, have we forgotten what we're doing here? And I kind of think that's a little bit like the Christmas season for us. Yeah. You know, all year long we run, and we have so much on our plates with kids, with families, with parents, with medical emergencies, that we lose our focus. And it's like that picture of being in Bethlehem and being in that church, and we forgot why we're there. We're yelling at people, we're shoving people. It's like, come on. And I think there's a lesson to be learned with regards to it. Because as you walk in, I think we kind of forget that Christmas is not truly meant for one day on a calendar. Christmas represents Christ in us. It's a celebration of him coming into the world and coming into our lives. And I find it just sad for me personally because I fall into that trap where I got to get presents. I got to get this. We've got to get this. We've got to invite these people. We got to set up for dinner. And we just hurry up and rush, and we get cranky. And then it's like the day of Christmas, like, oh, Merry Christmas. And then we remember it for the day. But it really is supposed to be meant year round. And so what I would say to our families, and I want to thank my lovely wife, Jennifer, for being here today. And Aaron, thanks so much for being a part of this with us. But I wanted to share something that is really dear to our hearts. And it's just maybe a thought for us to have. You know, sometimes, like Herod, we're surprised by fear. Sometimes, like Mary, we're surprised by, you know, the angels that are unaware. But many times, like the shepherds, we're surprised by joy. But always, like planet Earth on that silent night long ago, but not too long ago, we're surprised by a God who is full of surprises. And so the question I have is, are we open to receiving God's surprises, which are around the corner every hour and every day? Are we open to being surprised by faith in the midst of dialogue with the questions and doubts that we have? You know, there's an energy when it seems that you have used 1 ounce of joy. There's peace that passes understanding and misunderstanding. There's patience that kicks in just when self-control keels over. And there's hope that stands its ground against the multitude of world's missiles and miseries. You see, the love of Christ, that's the source of all Christmas surprises and true Christmas joy. It's the simple center of the holy day, or should I say holiday, which has become increasingly elusive as our festivities have become more frenzied and our lives have become more frantic. Jennifer and I love hearing quotes by Martin Luther, and one of my favorite quotes of his says this. He says, "He whom the world could not enwrap, yonder lies in Mary's lap." You see, it's a reminder that Christmas doesn't end. Christmas is year-round. And may this Christmas serve as a beginning, not as an end. May we be open to receiving God's surprises every hour, every day in this new year. Most importantly, may the Christ of Christmas reign in our hearts all year long. Friend Jennifer and I and our family, we pray that this morning has been an incredible morning, opening up presents. But we pray for you that you don't miss the true meaning of the season. Merry Christmas, and may Christ reign in your heart in the new year. God bless you. Have a wonderful day.
Joy to the world. Joy to the world. Oh, joy to the world. The Lord is come. Let earth receive the King. Let every heart prepare him roam. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. And heaven and nature sing. Oh, joy to the world. Joy to the world.
Ah, joy to the world, the Savior reigns. Let men their songs in blood. Rock fields and floods, rock seals and flames. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Repeat the sounding joy. Joy to the world, and we sing.
Let the earth receive her King.
Joy to the world, and we sing.
Let the angel voices ring.
Joy to the world, and we sing.
Let the men their songs employ. Oh, joy to the world, and we sing.
Repeat the sounding joy.
He rules the world with truth and grace and makes the nations prove.
And rise of his righteousness and wonders of his love. 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 And wonders of his
Joy to the world, and we sing.
Let the earth receive her King.
Joy to the world, and we sing.
Let the angel voices ring.